Their WNBA, as you know, they're calling for players in the WNBA are calling for more money. They 9%, I believe, accordingly. They get 9% of total revenue compared to roughly 50% of the revenue of NBA players. Should they be getting a larger share of the revenue in the WNBA?
Yes. I mean, I think share isn't the right way to look at it because there's so much more revenue in the NBA. I think you should look at it in absolute numbers in terms of what they're making, and they are going to get a big increase in this cycle of collective bargaining, and they deserve it.
So guys, I wanted to wait a little bit before I actually did a official video on this topic, okay, as it pertains to the NBA's commissioner being Adam Silver. Okay, it's like a lot to go on. I might have to make another video about this because I keep seeing updates and like conflicting information about what Adam Silver, what he stands on, okay, when it comes to the WNBA players' pay increase, right? Now, people are saying like, you know what, this just confirms what we already knew from the start, or what we should have known, which is that Kathy Engelbert, okay, being the WNBA commissioner, she's not really the one that has the control and power. She's not the one that's really pulling the strings and moving the wheel, steering the wheel, okay? She's just a puppet. Okay, they're saying that, you know, Kathy is just like the figurehead of the WNBA as she plays the role of being the WNBA's commissioner. Whereas Adam Silver, who is the NBA's commissioner, he is the one that's like, you know, pulling the strings on the puppet, i.e. being Kathy Engelbert, okay? He's the one who has all the say-so and all the power. But I'm like, that's kind of like how I felt like we all knew about how the NBA has more power over the WNBA. Like, that's just like a given. Guys, please allow me to read you a little article brought to you by BleacherReport.com. It is titled, Adam Silver says WNBA players will get a big increase in pay amid the CBA negotiations. So it reads, the NBA's commissioner, Adam Silver, said in an interview with Today co-host Craig Melvin on NBC that WNBA players will get a big increase in pay amid the negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement. Devin Henderson of The Athletic provided more information and context on revenue sharing in the WNBA's current CBA. And this is what he quotes as saying. He says, the NBA and WNBA have different revenue sharing systems, and that is the problem. In the NBA, players make roughly half of basketball-related income, with the other half going towards the owners. BRI, okay, that's basketball-related income, by the way, so remember, BRI. So BRI determines the NBA's salary cap. Now, the WNBA's current CBA doesn't explicitly use BRI to determine the salary cap. The CBA sets the salary cap for each year of the agreement. The league's current collective bargaining agreement is set to expire October 31st. Players have identified revenue sharing as a major sticking point in a new agreement. Since this has been a tense negotiation, to say the least, with Minnesota Lynx superstar and WNBA MVP runner-up Napheesa Collier notably calling out league commissioner Kathy Engelbert on a host of matters and saying that the WNBA had the worst leadership in the world. It continues, revenue sharing is ultimately the biggest concern as the league continues its growth. The players are still adamant that we get a percentage of revenue that grows with the business, which perhaps includes team revenue, and that's just a part of the conversation, WNBPA President Nneka Ogwumike said to ESPN last August. Per Eric Pincus, a Bleacher Report in September, WNBA revenue could soon reach $350 million. Obviously, as the league continues to grow by leaps and bounds, players understandably want to be fairly compensated for the work and contributing to that effort. Ultimately, it doesn't appear that a deal is around the corner by any means, and it's also unknown just how big of an increase players could be in for getting. That being said, it's clear players understand their worth and are fighting hard to get it. So again, guys, that is pretty much the word of the day. That is the word throughout this entire battle, so to speak, okay, when it comes to WNBA and the CBA negotiations, the new one, right? Revenue sharing, okay? Right now, because again, guys, the NBA experienced a lockout, I want to say in 2011, due to the players and the owners having a conflict over what revenue sharing. So right now, as it stands, it's a 49 to 51% split, okay, of revenue sharing in the NBA. Now, I believe that 49 to 51% ratio is in favor of the owners. So owners of the teams, okay, in the WNBA, in the NBA rather, they get 51% of the league's revenue sharing as compared to the NBA players. They receive 49%. Now, currently in the WNBA, revenue sharing is at just 9.3%. That's criminal, okay, for the women. So the WNBA players, if you on a team, say for, let's say, what's the most highest team? The Golden State Valkyries, I believe, are now worth over $530 million, right? The players can only receive no more than 9.3%. Now, let's say Steph Curry, of course, he is on the Golden State Warriors. That team is worth billions of dollars. Okay, those players, they receive at least 49% of the sharing. You see where I'm going with this? That's why when Kelsey Plum was trying to break it down, saying like, you know what, we're not asking to get paid as much as the men, or even somewhat as much as the men. We want the same revenue sharing percentage as the men in the NBA because we earn it and we deserve it, and it's true. If your team, okay, if the freaking, what is it? The New York Liberty is worth, what, $450 million? Why is it because I'm a woman, I'm in the WNBA, I can only receive no more than 9.3% revenue sharing? Whereas the men, they receive 49%, almost half. Half of what the team is worth. That's crazy to me. And then on top of that, the women in the WNBA, they don't get any money for their jersey sales, merchandise, ticket sales, nothing. They don't see anything. Okay, so again, it's like a lot of the freaking WNBA players, specifically the ones that are in that WNBCAP, okay, that organization to protect the interests of the players of the WNBA, they are currently dragging Mr. Adam Silver, okay, the NBA commissioner. They're talking about, he's like, oh, you know, I guarantee you we're going to increase their pay. They're going to see a salary increase. But they're like, listen, that's fine and dandy. But what about revenue sharing? What about revenue sharing? How come we don't even get 10%? We don't make any money from our jersey sale that has our name, image, and likeness on it. The teams that we represent, this is crazy. Okay, and even furthermore, guys, to add, insult to injury, WNBA players have pushed at meetings, okay, just like this last CBA negotiating meeting during the WNBA All-Star Weekend back in July in Indianapolis, Indiana. When they went to that meeting, they said, hey, we want to see the actual documents. Show us that financial documents. Let me see the income statement, the cash flows. Let me see all these financial documents to show our league's revenue sharing. You know what happened? Kathy Engelbert and the powers that be refused to allow the players to see the documents. If that doesn't scream shady, if that doesn't scream breakdown of trust, I don't know what does. It's obvious, guys. That's why it makes me so angry. Again, I'm a finance major. I'm not saying that I know everything. Okay, I'm an entry finance. I'm trying to, get an entry financial position in my field. But it makes me upset when people say like, well, they don't turn a profit. They don't listen to me. We don't know if they turn a profit. All we see reported in Google is that they lost $40 million. That could be a lie. Why? Because it's something that they have concealed private financial documents and records and statements. And it's like, obviously, if something is up, something is awry, something has gone left, when the very players of a team and organization are not able, they're not permitted to see the actual financial documents. Let me see the taxes. Let me see the numbers. Let me see the figures. Again, men lie, women lie, numbers do not lie. That's why I love finance, that's why I love math. And it's like for them to like deny them over and over again from seeing any financial documents, income statements, cash flow statements, balance sheet. Let me just see a balance sheet. Let's just see where the debit and credit, let's just see if it at least breaks even. They just say no. You can't see anything. Guys, the WNBA, like Nafisa Collier said, she said they have the worst leadership in the world, and it shows. They have shown their lack of care, the lack of trust, okay, that the players cannot have in them due to how greedy they are, how secretive they are, very sneaky, and we can't even see these documents. So again, Adam Silver needs to put his money where his mouth is, talking about, yeah, I promised in the new CBA negotiations agreement for the WNBA, the players will be getting paid more. But what about increasing the revenue shares? That's what you need to be doing, Adam Silver, a.k.a. Kathy Engelbert. I don't know if we should start calling Kathy Adam and Adam Kathy. Who knows who in charge? Whoever running the show in the WNBA ought to be ashamed. Let us see the documents. Release the financial documents.